Political earthquake. Pierre wins massive landslide as Carney drives $63 billion out of Canada. Pierre Poilievre achieved a remarkable victory in the Battle River, Crowfoot by-election, garnering 80.4% of the vote and signaling significant support for conservative policies in Canada. This strong turnout of 58% reflects an engaged electorate eager for accountability and effective governance. In his victory speech, Poilievre emphasized humility, loyalty, and perseverance, framing his win as a call for unity and a government that listens to its citizens. His focus on grassroots engagement marks a shift toward a more participatory political style, valuing the experiences of everyday Canadians over elite perspectives. Prime Minister Carney faces increasing criticism for his economic policies since his election on April 28, 2025. Reports show that $63 billion in investment has exited Canada, raising concerns about stagnant wages, rising poverty, and growing dependence on the U.S. Critics argue that Carney's focus on international commitments, particularly military support for Ukraine, has overshadowed urgent domestic needs. Many Canadians feel neglected, leading to frustration and calls for a leader who prioritizes local welfare as the economic climate of rising living costs intensifies demands for a return to domestic growth. In labor relations, Air Canada is experiencing a disruptive strike as flight attendants demand fair pay and job security. Airline executives have acknowledged their lack of preparedness for union resistance, highlighting concerns about corporate accountability and worker rights. Conservative leaders, including Damien Carrick, argue against Canadians bearing the costs of corporate mismanagement, advocating for stronger worker protections. This strike reflects a growing awareness of labor rights among the public and underscores a national dialogue about equity and justice in the workplace, potentially reshaping labor relations in Canada. The Russia-Ukraine conflict is evolving, with President Trump and European leaders seeking diplomatic resolutions. Trump's recent initiatives, noted by Finland's Prime Minister Stubb, have reportedly accelerated progress, while Germany's Chancellor emphasizes the need for a ceasefire. Canada's role is under scrutiny as Prime Minister Carney faces domestic economic challenges. Citizens question whether Canada's international engagements align with national interests, especially as support for foreign military involvement declines. Carney must balance international obligations with the welfare of Canadians. Public opinion polls show rising concerns among Canadians about cultural integration and national identity, with 66% believing immigrants should adopt Canadian values. This reflects a desire for a cohesive identity in an increasingly diverse society, balancing the welcoming of newcomers with core values. Environmental and civil liberties debates are intensifying in Nova Scotia, particularly around a forest access ban and glyphosate spraying plans. Critics warn of rights infringements and ecosystem threats, highlighting the need for greater transparency and accountability in decision-making. This underscores a societal shift toward prioritizing community welfare and environmental stewardship. Amid these challenges, stories of resilient Canadians inspire hope and determination. From teachers to ranchers and centenarians who have faced hardships, these individuals embody the perseverance and community spirit that define Canada. Poilievre often highlights these narratives in his speeches, illustrating shared responsibility and strong community bonds. He emphasizes policies that empower citizens and protect livelihoods, reinforcing national sovereignty. These stories remind Canadians of past challenges and the values uniting them in pursuit of a better future. By focusing on these themes, Poilievre aims to create a narrative that resonates with voters, reflecting their aspirations and needs. Poilievre's decisive by-election victory signals growing conservative momentum and public demand for responsible leadership. As Carney faces criticism for economic mismanagement and foreign commitments, the electorate shows readiness for change. Labor disputes, like the Air Canada strike, highlight tensions between corporate executives and employees demanding fair treatment. The government's response to these issues will influence public perception of leadership and accountability. Organized labor's growing voice advocates for reforms prioritizing worker rights, reflecting a societal shift toward fairness and justice in the workplace, challenging traditional power dynamics for a more inclusive economy. Environmental and civil liberties debates are increasingly pressing, as seen in Nova Scotia's forest ban and glyphosate spraying controversy. Canadians are aware of how government decisions impact their health, rights, and ecosystems, demanding transparency and environmental protection. Citizens advocate for a participatory governance approach, ensuring their voices are heard regarding policies that affect their lives. The intersection of environmental justice and civil rights reflects a growing understanding that social justice and ecological sustainability are linked, urging leaders to adopt holistic strategies to address both concerns simultaneously. Geopolitical commitments, particularly support for Ukraine, raise scrutiny of Canada's foreign policy. As Trump and European leaders negotiate resolutions, Carney's military and financial backing for Ukraine is weighed against the need for domestic economic stability. Citizens question whether these commitments align with national interests, seeking a balanced foreign policy that prioritizes domestic well-being. This critical examination emphasizes the need for responsive governance that reflects constituents' voices, ensuring Canada's international role does not compromise its citizens' welfare. The public increasingly demands accountability and transparency from leaders on both domestic and international fronts. Across Canada, resilient stories reinforce a strong national identity, from healthcare workers facing pandemic challenges to farmers ensuring food security. These narratives highlight the perseverance and community spirit that shape Canada's future. Leaders emphasize the need for policies that respect citizens' contributions while promoting economic growth and stability. As the nation navigates complex challenges, the collective strength of its people inspires inclusive policies that empower all Canadians. By centering these stories in the national narrative, leaders can deepen connections with the electorate and reflect diverse experiences. Canada is at a pivotal moment in its political history, with Poilievre's victory in Battle River, Crowfoot reflecting grassroots energy, and a demand for accountable leadership. Carney faces criticism over economic and foreign policy amid labor disputes and environmental concerns. The resilience and unity of Canadians offer a foundation for restoring stability and national sovereignty. Leaders must prioritize constituents' well-being and craft policies that honor community spirit. This emerging political landscape, focused on accountability, could redefine government-citizen relationships for a more equitable future.